Welcome to From Betrayal to Breakthrough, and here is a mini dose of Dr. Debi where I'm sharing tips, suggestions, strategies, and sometimes just motivation to have you move past your betrayal once and for all. So I've found that we can either prevent a life crisis or we can heal from one. Dr. Debi here. So think about a life crisis: divorce, death of a loved one, disease, natural disaster, devastation of some kind, abuse, betrayal, financial crisis, whatever it is for you. And what I see is there are ways that we try to prevent a life crisis in a healthy way, and then an unhealthy way. Healthy ways would be things like what you're probably already doing. You're eating well, you're exercising, maybe spending time in nature, being with friends, support, getting enough sleep, supplementing correctly, things like that. And then there are the unhealthy ways. And this is what we do, where we use food, drugs, alcohol, work, TV, keeping busy, reckless behavior, anything to numb, avoid, and distract ourselves from what's painful to feel or face. But you know what happens? The voice gets louder and louder. It's like we get this tap on the shoulder. There's something that we're meant to see, do, become. And we don't want to deal with that because it's going to create a lot of change. It's going to create a lot of shakeup. So what we do is the stakes get higher and higher. So if you used to take a glass of wine, it's taking 2 or 3. You used to take a little, a cookie or 2, you're eating a whole bunch of cookies. You used to take a show, you're binge watching a whole series. And what happens is we do this, we think it works, and we do this until we can't, and until it doesn't work. And then what happens is there's that reckoning. We're faced with this life crisis that now we really need to clean up. We can't avoid it anymore. We can't try to act like it's not there anymore. So I found that there are these 4 questions that really help to see if we are trying to prevent or heal. See if you're numbing, avoiding, distracting. I'll ask them to you. Ready? Am I numbing and avoiding? If so, how? Be honest with yourself. Do you walk into the kitchen and you're not hungry and you're raiding cabinets? What do you do? The second question: what am I pretending not to see? Am I pretending not to see that there's trouble in my relationship? Am I pretending not to see that health issue that needs my attention? Am I pretending not to see I hate my job? What's life going to look like in 5 to 10 years if I keep this going? Play that all the way out. What's it going to look like? And what can life look like if I change now? I'm not saying it's easy. Transformation begins when we tell ourselves the truth. So for this and so much more, go to subscribe to Debi.com, and I have so many things there for you. I'll see you next time. So you may have heard that saying, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. I want to give you 6 ways to know who someone is. Dr. Debi here. One of the things that we do is, you want to look for congruency and consistency. When someone's acting one way but saying something else, or when their mannerisms are one way but they're conveying something else, something's off, and it's almost like things are misaligned. You're looking for alignment. And the way to find that alignment is when, ready, here are the 6, the thoughts, the behaviors, the actions, the habits, the mannerisms, and the energy are all aligned. For example, someone's like, yeah, I'm listening. No, they're not, or they're turning away. Check that body language. They're not really receptive, or they're leaning back. They don't really want to hear what you're saying. Or, they're looking off into, it's one thing to look off like this when you're thinking, but when they're trying to convey the truth, let's say you're looking for the truth and they can't look at you, trust that, right? Or let's say the mouth is smiling, but the eyes aren't, and it's like a creepy, weird, not Botox thing. It's just their face isn't smiling right. Trust it. Everything needs to be aligned. I'll never forget a friend of mine who's an intuitive, and he's like, Debi, you're vanilla. And I was like, well, that's just so insulting. He said, no, I mean it in a good way. If I were to slice you up and down the middle, you'd be consistent and congruent throughout. There are no surprises here. It's not like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, or that was really a surprise. Everything is aligned. Everything is congruent. Well, you want to be, in this case, you want to be vanilla, where the thoughts, actions, behaviors, habits, mannerisms, energy is aligned. And make sure you are that way, and that's what you see in other people. If there's something off, trust it. If it feels completely aligned, check that energy, check the mannerisms, check the thoughts, the behaviors. Everything needs to be congruent so you can feel safe and you can feel like you can trust. Of course, you're going to be wary. Of course, you're going to be hesitant, but that's a great start. I'll talk to you next time. It's day 5 of the Trust Again Intensive. These people have been working so hard. Yesterday, I taught them the 4-step trust rebuilding process. I want to give you one of the steps because even one of them is going to help. Because think about it. Trust is so foundational. And when trust is shattered, you don't trust the person who shattered the trust. You don't trust yourself. So then you're like, if I can't trust the person I trusted the most and I don't trust myself, how in the world can I trust in anyone or anything? It is so, there's this ripple effect and it affects every area of life. It affects you physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, spiritually. So here's one of the steps, and I hope this helps you. One of the things you want to do is rebuild trust in your gut, in your intuition, in your wise inner guide, right? Because what happens is we turn that down, and it really serves us if we pay attention. So one of the ways to do that is get a felt sense of what trust, of what safety feels like for you. Like maybe it's 2 babies giggling. Maybe it's a dog wagging his or her tail. Whatever it is for you. Get a sense of what that feels like for you. Is there a color? Is there a texture? Where do you feel it? That's what trust feels like. Lock that in. Then think of when someone was lying to you. D-Day, Discovery Day, when you just realized that you could not trust this person. Right? How does that feel? Get a felt sense. Does it feel tight, constricted, closed? Where do you feel that on your body? That's what a lack of trust feels like. Lock it in. And now, as you go about your day with everybody you're interacting with things you're doing, with people you're speaking with, which vision does it, which felt sense does it more closely resonate with? When you're talking with that person, does it feel closer to those 2 babies giggling, or does it feel closer to when you were lied to? Trust your gut. It never lies. People do, but your gut never does. Your gut is so much more perceptive than your mind. So as you move about your day, just get those 2 pictures in mind and then test and check. Does it feel closer to trust? Does it feel closer to a lack of trust? Hope that helps. I'll talk to you next time. You need the right tools, support, and the right community to move through the 5 stages from betrayal to breakthrough. And we have all that within the PBT Institute. So join us at the PBT, as in post-betrayal transformation, thepbtinstitute.com. There's a version of you who's so confident, healthy, peaceful, and happy on the other end of your healing. And we can't wait to help you get there. We got you. Thanks for listening. And here's to your breakthrough.